If you had told me at the beginning of March that I was going to be in Colorado riding a Triumph Speed Twin, my Triumph Speed Twin, by the end of the summer, well, it turns out that a lot can happen in 7 months, and there are quite a few things that I wouldn't have believed if you'd told them to me at the beginning of March, but this is where we are now. I just arrived in Colorado yesterday, and the very first thing I learned upon getting here is that the state is currently on fire. Literally. Today is Monday the 24th, and there are currently, I don't know how many, but a great many wildfires burning. So that's why the sky looks the way it does. It's all hazy, all smoky. I mean, I could see smoke in the sky as far away as the middle of Kansas, which means there's basically no visibility right now. The place I'm staying is only a few miles from the actual mountains, but I had to ride quite a ways before I could even see them, and even now, they're just silhouettes in the sky. I mean, they're almost ghostly. But fortunately, we are going in for a closer look. I came all the way here from Virginia to ride these roads, and this is my first time getting out on one. I, of course, had to give a little bit of attention to my bike before I could leave, as I'll show you. Alright, we're going to do a little checkup before we get out on the road. Some of the roads I was driving on in West Virginia, and actually here in Colorado too, were pretty rough, and I think there are some things that might be loose. This mirror... Was it this one? Yeah. You heard my little story about it tipping over in the trailer at one point. As far as I can tell, it did not suffer a single scratch from that incident. Very, very grateful for that. I got really lucky. So I'm just going to go around and make sure nothing else is loose, make sure nothing's leaking. I rode through a whole lot of rain, so I know that the chain is going to need to be lubed. Oh, one other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take off my Virginia inspection sticker. It's big and orange and looks dumb, and I'm in Colorado, and if I get pulled over, I highly doubt that any cops here are going to be on the lookout for my Virginia inspection. If I were to get dinged for it, I think the fine is usually like $50 or $75 or something. I would just write that off as a $75 cosmetic upgrade. So I found one tiny little bit of damage from the fall on the trailer, and it's on the seat here. If that's the only real damage I sustained, then I consider myself very, very lucky. Now that that's done with, it's a little after lunchtime, and we are making it happen, folks. I am not an expert in the local geography. What I do is I go on Google Maps and pan around until I see road lines that look especially squiggly, and I go there. We're in Left Hand Canyon now, and I'm not even sure where I'm going to go from here. I'm just going to wander. Oh my god, this is so pretty. I can't believe people get to live here. love that with the Speed Twin I don't have to keep the revs up super high. If I don't feel like downshifting into a corner, I don't have to. This thing has super bike levels of torque down low. Nice Land Cruiser. That's what I would have liked to have taken this trip in instead of the Sequoia. But even an old one like that is probably about 10,000 bucks. And I love the number of RVs and campers I see out here. I mean, adventure RVs, rugged stuff, van conversions. One of my dreams is to have an adventure van that I can travel around in, either with or without my motorcycle. Oh my god, and the air up here feels so good. It's hard to imagine that this is actually some of the worst air quality they'll ever experience up here with the fires going on. But where I come from, man, walking outside in this kind of heat feels like stepping into a dog's mouth. The temperatures are in the 90s right now. I wouldn't even dream of getting on a motorcycle in DC today. But here, the air is so nice and dry. I kept thinking that my zipper was down on my jacket because the airflow was so noticeable. In DC, even when you manage to get airflow, it's just more wet air touching you. Anyway, I want to forget about all that. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I had two big worries for this trip. One was that the road surfaces would be pretty bad. And I know that they are in some places, but I was afraid they would be bad everywhere because, you know, the winters here are so harsh. It's got to be really hard for them to keep things smooth, but at the very least, this road is fine. And my other concern was that there would be tons of tourist traffic. You know, it's a beautiful area, lots to see, lots to do. There are tons and tons of people who come here to take in this natural splendor, and they do so very slowly. But I don't know, maybe it's the end of the summer, or maybe the fires are keeping people away or something, but I haven't gotten stuck behind anybody yet, knock on wood. It's only my first ride though, and we'll see how it goes. I think I spoke too soon. It seemed like this area was being pretty generous with the passing lanes, but I guess they don't really do them in the curves like this. I probably could safely overtake this guy on the double yellows, but I don't do that. And also, I'm here with a Virginia license plate. I wouldn't want somebody to see me pull a move like that and think poorly of where I come from. Alright, well, it's all dirt from there. Kinda makes me wish I had a scrambler. I could go down there. I saw it on the map. It's only a mile or two of dirt. I could just toddle along. But I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna go back the way I came. I saw some other good-looking roads branching off from a few towns I passed. I forgot, there's no helmet law in Colorado. I bet you that old-timer on his big fat Harley would leave my ass in the dust on any road around here. At least the Suzuki guy was polite. So I just stopped at a little scenic overlook near Allens Park. I was going to send the drone up again to get a little more footage, but it was starting to rain. And I knew coming here that the weather is so unpredictable, especially when you get up into the mountains. I knew that when the weather forecast says 0% chance of rain, what it really means is, I don't have any of my rain gear on me right now, but that's not the issue. I don't mind getting wet. My bike can get wet. My phone can get wet. My GoPros can get wet. But it's my big camera and the drone and my microphone that I'm worried about. And look, now it seems perfectly clear. Earlier I thought that the rain clouds were just smoke from the fires, but I don't know, maybe it was both. I hope we do get some rain and that helps with the fires a little bit. Colorado doesn't deserve to burn. Well, anyways, I'm gonna head back towards Longmont on another road that I've had my eye on, Route 7. It's a canyon road that leads to Lyons, the town. All things considered, I am in a great mood right now. This was about a 100-mile ride, you know, fairly close to the town I'm staying in, just getting my feet wet. I am so looking forward to seeing everything else that the Rockies have to offer. I don't really have any grand plans or goals for this trip. I'm just gonna ride around, have a good time, and maybe make some content. Definitely want to do some drone stuff. You know, where I live in DC, the airspace is pretty much all restricted. As opposed to here, I can fly basically anywhere except for the national parks and the areas where they're fighting the wildfires. I also, now that I've practiced with the chin-mounted GoPro a little bit, want to put out some of those videos that I've been wanting to make for a long time, where I just don't talk, there's no story, no music, no editing. I just put you in my boots and find an interesting road to ride in real time. I don't know, is that something you guys would watch? I'm sure some of you are aware of Schaff. I love Schaff. I unfortunately have neither his death wish nor his access to interesting motorcycles all the time, but he makes a lot of that type of video that just immerses you in the rider's perspective, and that's the kind of thing I'd like to make too, even if I'm going at a slightly more leisurely pace. If you've got any suggestions for places I've got to go in Colorado that I might not know about, roads I need to know about, or types of videos that you'd like to see from me, just leave a comment below and I'll read them all. And then of course, if you'd like to see that type of video once I've made it, make sure you subscribe. Those of you who are returning viewers to the channel, thank you for following along on this adventure. This has been a long time and a lot of work in the making, and I could not be happier to be here. I know this has been a fucked up year for a lot of people, and I'm one of the lucky ones. So I hope that I might be able to bring a little bit of excitement into other people's lives through this channel. Well, it turns out that this road I'm on is even more gorgeous than I expected. So I'm gonna shut up and just enjoy this. As usual, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.